Hello, Comer kids! Welcome to the Comer Tutors broadcast, brought to you by Comer Tutors. We're now in the month of March, which is the first, the second, it's the third month of the year. March is a month of many holidays and events, including Women's History Month, St. Patrick's Day, the beginning of spring, and Read Across America Day. To mark Read Across America Day, which happened on March 2nd, and to celebrate March as the third month of the year, today we're bringing you two stories that have to do with our friend, the number 3. And what are these stories? Well, they're the stories of the 3 little pigs and the 3 bears. So, we hope that you have fun reading along with us today, but we also hope that you have a triply great day. Bye guys, and I'll see you guys soon.
Hi everybody, my name is Hendrik.
And I'm Anthony.
And we're tutors with Comer Tutors. So we're going to read with you today, and we hope you enjoy. The story today is the story of the 3 little pigs, and it's a story about these 3 little pigs who have to stand up against a big bad wolf. The story of the 3 little pigs. Once upon a time, there was an old sow with 3 little pigs. And as she had not enough to keep them, she sent them out to seek their fortune.
The first that went off met a man with a bundle of straw and said to him, "Please, man, give me that straw to build me a house," which the man did, and the little pig built a house with it. Presently came along a wolf and knocked at the door and said, little pig, let me come in." To which the pig answered, "No, no, by the hair of my chinny chin chin."
"Then I'll huff, and I'll puff, and I'll blow your house in," said the wolf. So he huffed, and he puffed, and he blew his house in, and ate up the little pig. The second pig met a man with a bundle of furs, and said, "Please, man, give me that furs to build a house," which the man did, and the pig built his house.
Then along came the wolf and said, little pig, let me come in." "No, no, by the hair of my chinny chin chin." "Then I'll huff, and I'll puff, and I'll blow your house in." So he huffed, and he puffed, and he puffed, and he huffed, and at last he blew the house down and ate up the second little pig.
The third little pig met a man with a load of bricks and said, "Please, man, give me those bricks to build a house with." So the man gave him the bricks, and he built his house with them. So the wolf came, as he did to the other little pigs, and said, little pig, let me come in." "No, no, by the hair of my chinny chin chin." "Then I'll huff, and I'll puff, and I'll blow your house in."
Well, he huffed, and he puffed, and he huffed, and he puffed, and he puffed, and he huffed, but he could not get the house down. When he found that he could not, with all his huffing and puffing, blow the house down, he said, little pig, I know where there is a nice field of turnips." "Where?" said the little pig. "Oh, in Mr. Smith's home field. And if you will be ready tomorrow morning, I will call for you, and we will go together and get some for dinner." "Very well," said the little pig. "I will be ready. What time do you mean to go?" "Oh, at 6 o'clock.
Well, the little pig got up at 5 and got the turnips and was home again before 6. When the wolf came, he said, "Little pig, are you ready?" "Ready," said the little pig. "I have been and come back again and got a nice pot full for dinner."
The wolf felt very angry at this, but thought that he would be up to the little pig somehow or other. So he said, little pig, I know where there is a nice apple tree." "Where?" said the pig. "Down at Merry Garden," replied the wolf. "And if you will not deceive me, I will come to you for you at 5 o'clock tomorrow, and we will go together and get some apples."
Well, the little pig woke up at 4 the next morning and bustled up and went off for the apples, hoping to get back before the wolf came. But he had further to go and had to climb the tree, so that just as he was coming down from it, he saw the wolf coming, which, as you may suppose, frightened him very much. When the wolf came up, he said, "Little pig, what? Are you here before me? Are they nice apples?"
Yes, very, said the little pig. I will throw you down one. And he threw it so far that while the wolf was gone to pick it up, the little pig jumped down and ran home.
The next day, the wolf came again and said to the little pig, "Little pig, there is a fair in the town this afternoon. Will you go?"
Oh, yes, said the little pig. I will go. What time shall you be ready? At 3, said the wolf. So the little pig went off before the time, as usual, and got to the fair and bought a butter churn and was on his way home with it when he saw the wolf coming. Then he could not tell what to do.
So he got into the churn to hide, and in doing so turned it round, and it began to roll, and rolled down the hill with the pig inside it, which frightened the wolf so much that he ran home without going to the fair. He went to the little pig's house and told him how frightened he had been by a great round thing which came down the hill past him.
Then the little pig said, Ha! I frightened you, did I? I had been to the fair and brought a butter churn, and when I saw you, I got into it and rolled down the hill. Then the wolf was very angry indeed, and declared he would eat up the little pig, and that he would get down the chimney after him.
When the little pig saw what he was about, he hung on the pot full of water and made up a blazing fire. And just as the wolf was coming down, took off the cover of the pot, and in fell the wolf. And the little pig put on the cover again in an instant, boiled him up, and ate him for supper, and lived happily ever after.
The end.
The end. Thank you, everybody. We hope you enjoyed the story. It was fun to read with you. See you next time.
Hello, everyone. We're back with another story. This time we're reading The Three Bears by Anonymous. So this is a story, again, about the number 3, and this time we're talking about 3 bears and how they respond when somebody breaks into their house. The 3 bears. There were once 3 bears who lived in a wood. Their porridge was thick, and their chairs and beds good. The biggest bear, Bruin, was surly and tough. His wife, Mrs. Bruin, was called Mammy Muff. Their son, Tiny Cub, was like Dame Goose's lad. He was not very good, nor yet very bad. Now Bruin, the biggest, the surly old bear, had a great granite bowl and a cast iron chair. Mammy Muff's bowl and chair you would no doubt prefer. They were both made of brickbats, but both suited her. Young Tiny Cub's bowl, chair, and bed were the best. This Big Bears and Baby Bears freely confessed. Mr. B, with his wife and his son, went one day to take a short stroll and a visit to pay. He left the door open, for, said he, no doubt, if our friend should call in, he will find us all out. It was only 2 miles from dark hazelnut wood, in which the great house of the 3 Bruins stood. And there lived a young miss, daring, funny, and fair. And from having bright curls, she was called Golden Hair.
She had roamed through the wood to see what she could see, and she saw going, walking the Bruins all 3.
She said to herself, to rob bears is no sin. The 3 bears have gone out, so I think I'll go in. She entered the parlor, and she saw a great bowl, and in it a spoon like a hair cutter's pole. That porridge, said she, may stay long enough there. It tastes like the food of the surly old bear. She tried Mammy Muffs, and she said, Mrs. B, I think your taste and my taste will never agree.
Then she tried Tiny Cub's bowl and said, This is nice. I will put in some salt and of bread a thick slice.
The porridge she eat soon made her so great, the chair that she sat on broke down with her weight. The bottom fell out, and she cried in dismay, This is Tiny Cub's chair, and oh, what will he say? His papa is, I know, the most savage of bears. His mama is a fury, but for her, who cares?
I'm sure I do not. And then, as for her son, that young bear, Tiny Cub, from him shall I run? No, not I, indeed, but I will not sit here. I shall next break the floor through, that's what I most fear. So upstairs she ran, and there 3 beds she found. She looked under each one, and she looked all around, but no one she saw, so she got into bed. It was surly old Bruin's, and well stuffed with lead. Mammy Muffs next she tried, it was stuffed with round stones. So she got into Tiny Cub's, and rested her bones. Golden Hair was asleep when the 3 bears came in.
Said Big Bruin, I'm hungry, to eat, let's begin. Who has been to my porridge? He roared with such might. His voice was like wind down the chimney at night. Who has been to my porridge? Growled out Mrs. B. Her voice was like cats fighting up in a tree.
Who has been to my porridge and eaten it all? Young Tiny Cub said, in a voice very small. Who has been sitting in my great armchair? In voice like a thunderstorm, roared the big bear. Who has been sitting in my good armchair? Growled out Mammy Muff like a sow in despair. Who has sat in my nice chair and broken it down? Young Tiny Cub said, and so fierce was his frown, that his mother with pride to his father said, There, see our pet Tiny Cub can look just like a bear. So roaring and growling and frowning, the bears, one after the other, came running upstairs.
Who has been upon my bed? Old Bruin roared out, in a voice just like rain down a large water spout. Who has been on my bed? Growled out Mammy Muff, in a voice like her husband's, but not quite so rough. Who is lying on my bed? Said young Tiny Cub, in a voice like hot water poured into a tub. And Tiny Cub's breath,
And Tiny Cub's breath was so hot as he spoke that Golden Hair dreamt of hot water and woke. She opened her eyes and she saw the 3 bears and said, Let me go, please, I'll soon run downstairs. But Big Bruin was angry and shouted out, No, you had no right to come hither, and now you shan't go. What we mean to do with you, ere long you shall find. You can lie there and cry till I make up my mind. To Mammy and Tiny then did Big Bruin roar, Go and block up the chimney and nail up the door. This Golden Hair now has got into a scrape, and if I can help it, she shall not escape.
But Golden Hair saw that a window was there. It was always kept open to let in fresh air. So she jumped out of bed, to the window she ran, saying, 3 bears, goodbye! Catch me now if you can. To the window the bears ran as fast as they could, but Golden Hair flew like a wind through the wood.
She said the bear's breath had filled her with steam, but when she grew older, she said 'twas a dream. and no doubt she was right to take such a view. Still, some part of the story is certainly true, for unto this day there is no one who dares to say that there never existed three bears.
The end.
Yeah, I hope you all enjoyed reading with us, and we really appreciate you celebrating this third month of the year with us. Goodbye.